Okay, this video, I plan on making these actually into functional buttons, not just light up like everybody else, but I want these to actually work like buttons. Now, personally, I believe that maybe Arcade1up had plans for these to actually be functional buttons, just based off the design of it. I mean, after all, instead of it saying 25 cents for credit or insert quarter for credit, it says free play, push for credit. I mean, if you're going to make a coin door, why not just put 25 cents or 50 cents on the actual button itself? Then taking out and looking at it, it actually has what looks like it'd be a hinge at the top of it. Like they actually planned for it to actually swing, maybe hit into a button itself anyway. And then it has this little square piece sticking out on the bottom, which doesn't make much sense unless you actually planned on it being part of some type of function itself. Otherwise, there's no point in that. So I think they actually planned for it to actually probably that part push into a button as you push it in. But maybe costs, or they don't have to deal with replacing extra electronics or the consumer having to hook up extra electronics. So you probably scrap that plan anyway. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and do it myself. Because why not? Everybody else lights up. I want to do a little bit more. So first I had to start with my measurements. This is the back of the board itself. And taking your measurements, well, I started from the top actually. I'm going to go ahead and do it like the way I first started. Put this in here. The first measurement I took was actually right here at the very bottom of the button. I wanted to know how far down that was. So I took my square measure, or square ruler, or what it's called at the moment, and I measured down. As you see, it's 6 1/8 inch. Approximately, you probably can't really see it very well with my crappy camera. But it's 6 1/8 inch from the top of the board to the very bottom of this button. And that's where this line here comes from. So you can probably see it inside here. That line at the very bottom. So okay, my next measurement was actually, let's see, measuring the position of these buttons here actually. So I took these measurements, and this being the back of the board, you have to do it opposite. So the door on this side, your measurement is going to be on this side, and vice versa. The door on this side, the measurement is going to be on this side. So I put this in, and I took my measurements, hover over to approximately center of each one of these. The first measurement I got for this one, remember, this is the left side on the back, but it's actually going to be on the right side. So this first measurement I took was 3 1/4 inches, taken from the right side, because it's going to represent the right side. The next measurement for this one, to approximate center, is 5 11/16 inches, which is marked right here. Okay, my third measurement, take this on this side. This being the right side, these measurements go to the left side here. My third measurement was actually represented off this one here, which was 3 15/16 inches for this one to about center. Let's see, the fourth button, which is going to be represented here, is 6 3/8 inches. Remember, measurements, I take it from this side, I put on this side because this is the back of the board, it's going to be opposite. Let's see, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, this line here is actually the line for where I need my buttons to go, actually, because this is the button I'm using, this square button here. I found this to be a better button to use. None of the round buttons I tried worked out too well. I thought about this one, but it's just too big to use. It wouldn't fit neatly under here. This coin, I couldn't get this flat enough with this button. Okay, let me take a switch out of here. So I took this button. I marked like a center line for this button. see. And I actually put it so it's slightly below this line here, this center part here. Probably about the width of this little, was this little ledge at the bottom, or what you want to call it, which is probably about a 1/16 of an inch. And set that about just below the line. We can get a closer shot of it. I want it to be just below that line, about like that. And that's where I marked a spot up here for this, because I want it to be slightly below the line and line up. And I marked for here, so I got this line measurement for, which is 5 11/16 inches. And I did like that, so this very bottom part will hit the button. Let's see if I can get it. So I have something to push the button in, using this little ledge here to get there. It'll make more sense. I know I'm kind of babbling, but it'll make more sense when I get everything done. Okay, since I got my measurements down, these are the measurements I got. I'm gonna go ahead and drill out my spots here for my buttons holes, for my button, insert my buttons. And I'll come back and show you after I drill a hole for it. Okay, put the coin door on top. Slightly off center, but I can work with it still. Nope. That pushed all the way in, no wonder. Yeah, slightly off center, but I can work with it still. If I adjust that measurement over like a 1/16 of an inch. Take you off. And let me put this back in here. I'm going to put the screw back in, but it's going to be slightly loose, so you can get a better idea. Let me put you back on here. Let me put a switch in there so you get a better idea. Actually, I can put that not on here. That'll make more sense. Now, sorry about that. Now, there we go. I'll just screw up just a little bit. But it sounds good though. Oh, that's better. And put a little bit of this, just regular wood glue, a little bit on the screw, and put it back in the hole. That should hold it in there and keep it from winding back out. But it actually feels good. Okay. Now that's what I'm gonna do the rest of them, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Slightly bigger than I need, just in case I need to adjust it. because I'm pretty sure I will get a better idea of you. To readjust you. Okay, there we go, that direction. Oh, I'm hoping there's stuff in the front of this. I don't even want to look at the moment. I'm pretty sure I have scuffed the front, but oh well. Let's get a graphic to put over it. Okay. Before I put the coin door on, that's what it looked like. I'll not worry too much about that because the coin door is going to cover that up. You could just rip that little paper off if you want. Okay. I'll get the coin door. Now, let me take these off first so I get a better idea how I want to adjust those in the holes. Let me take you Let's try this side first. Oh, that's not bad actually. You can just use over slightly. The second one. Oh, the second one looks pretty perfect. Okay. You can take it off and check the other side. I have two coin doors, by the way. I'm just using this one because I haven't unpacked the other one yet. These are actually replacement coin doors I got from Arcade1up because the Simpson cabinet I bought didn't have it in the box. I'm thinking it was a return, but I now don't know for sure really. But it was in the box, and they agreed to send me a new one. But the way they sent me is kind of bowed. It actually looked worse than this when I first got it. I kind of bend and flex it, and it's about as straight as I can get really. But it still has a nice bow in it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put the screws in. It'll sit flat enough. Oh, this one looks ugly. I guess my measurement is off just a little bit on this side. The side-to-side measurement. The button itself lines up pretty good. You don't want to be exact center anyway, because then this part is going to make contact with the button. And you pretty much you want this part to make contact with the very bottom of the button. You don't want the B button to sit directly in the center. It's not necessary. But this one's way off. This one looks pretty good. This one looks off about 1/8 of an inch. And once I get it hooked up, I'll take a look from there. Or I might have to adjust the hole so I can be able to slide over a little bit. Oh, this one looks pretty good actually. do want to adjust this one. Second from the right. So adjusted. Could probably adjust this hole to slide over a little bit too, but that might be good enough. But this one's much better now. Now I'm going to put both coin doors on and see how they look. See how all of them click. I'm just going to leave just the one screw so that I can get the pivot. Put that in. I'm not going to completely tighten it either. Matter of fact, I can get a little bit of glue on the screw. And put it on the hole, as a matter of fact, not on the screw itself. Let's see, just a little bit. And get down that hole. Just a little bit. I'm using this instead of crazy glue because I don't want it to be permanently stuck in there, in case I have to take it back out for any reason. And again, I'm not going to completely tighten it. And back here just a tad bit. Okay, that might be workable. Put this one back in. Yeah, I'm not putting the bottom screw, just the top ones. Don't want to be completely tight. Let's try it now. Oh, there we go. Let me get that a coin door. I gotta see this all together. I actually had the cab halfway together before I noticed it didn't have the coin doors. I guess I should have actually checked ahead of time to make sure I had all my parts, but I haven't really had a problem in the past missing parts or anything like that. And I wasn't really thinking about it this time. Get that screw out. That one's a little bit tight. I'm going to have to loosen it up just a tad bit. Sitting flat. This coin door's pretty flat. Okay, that's better. Loosen that one just a little bit. Still perfect. Loosen that one up just a tad bit. I think I should be good. Why couldn't both of these coin doors be flat? Okay, that's better. These two still sound better somehow. Well, I'm not going to worry about that too much. I can adjust that. But that's how I'm going to make them functional. And I'm going to leave this one right here and just tune in for the next video. And I'll show you how I'm going to wire up the LEDs. And then I'm going to wire up the buttons to the control panel itself. That's going to be a whole process in itself the way I do it. But you'll see. Okay, just tune in. Stay tuned.